So now we're gonna go over how to manage and set up routines that you can use on your Google Home devices and with your Google Assistant. Basically what a routine does is you tell your Google Assistant one phrase and then it goes through a list of commands that you've set up with that routine. So the phrase will activate the routine and then it'll run all of the things you've told it to within that routine. So first we're gonna go and look how to set up and manage them. If you just open up the Home app and go to the correct home and click routines, you can see you have a couple here already, and we can go and just hit manage routines at the bottom. Once we do that, we can see there's already some ready-made routines, and these are ones that are preset by Google themselves. So if we click on the good morning routine, we can see we have a bunch of different options here. So at the top we have when. So when basically means when do you want this routine to run? And so if we click on that and see we want it to run when we say good morning or tell me about my day or I'm up, and we can add other commands too. So again, this is the starting command. So when you say this to your Google Assistant, it will start running the list of things that you've set in the routine. So you can add more phrases to activate this routine. It doesn't just have to be one phrase, it can be multiple. So click OK. And then when you say one of those things, Assistant will, and you can see there's a bunch of different options here. Okay. So you could see take phone off silent, adjust lights and plugs, adjust thermostat and scenes. That's if you have like a Nest thermostat or something, which I don't have connected to this home. But you could click on that and have it adjust the temperature and things like that. You can have it tell you about the weather, your commute, and a bunch of other things. So quick note here, taking phone off silent, that only works if you talk to the assistant through your phone. It does not work if you do it through a Google Home device. So if you have a Google Home Hub or Nest Home Hub or whatever, and you tell it good morning, even if you have this checked, it won't be able to take your phone off silent. So just keep that in mind. But you can have it do a bunch of things here. So if we look at like tell me about my commute, we can hit the settings gear and you can add your home and work address from here or a new place or something like that. So that way it knows where you're commuting to and where you're coming from. So it'll be able to give you how long it thinks it's going to take you to get there. Another big thing is like adjusting lights and plugs and more. So this is your smart lights, right? And anything plugged into a smart plug or something like that. And if we hit the settings here, you'll see I have a bunch of different stuff here, and you do want to be careful if you have multiple homes, right? I have multiple homes, so it's showing me everything in all my different homes. So I want to be careful with the names here so I know that I'm only changing stuff in this particular home that I'm in. And for lights, you only kind of get two options to turn them on or off. So if you want them to be set to like 50% or something when you run this command, you can't do that this way, but there is another way I'll show you in a second. But if you just want them to simply turn on or off, there you go, and you have to do it for each individual light you want it to turn on and off. And then you'll make sure you click OK and not the X because that saves the information. And then down at the bottom here, you get and then play. So after it runs all of these commands, you can have it play a specific music playlist or the news or something like that. So if we click on music, then we're gonna click on the settings gear. And in this box, we're gonna have to tell it what we want it to play. So we're gonna say play So I have a country playlist right in my Google Play Music library. So as long as I type it out like this, it'll play my country music playlist. And you just want to be careful how you type this in. Whenever you see a box like this, you want to type in how you would say that command to the Google Assistant. So when I'm talking to my Google Assistant, I would say play my country playlist, and it would then play my country playlist. So that's how I want to phrase it in here. Okay, and if you don't have things spelled correctly, that can also throw it off. So just be careful about that. And then remember to click the OK button. or you can have it do nothing. It can play nothing afterwards, which is also totally fine. Other little options here is you can change the order of when the actions happen. So if you want it to tell you about the weather before it adjusts the lights and plugs, you can do that. Or if you want it to turn on the lights first, you can just go ahead and put that at the top. So remember, when you run the command, when you run this routine, it's gonna go through this like a checklist and do it in order, so you can go and adjust the order. We'll click done. You also can add actions, so you can make your own custom action, right? So if there's not something on that list you want it to do, you can go ahead and make your own. And this is where that, if you want to set like the lights to 50% and instead of just having them turn on or off, you can do that here. Again, whenever you see a box like this, when you're doing routines, you want to type it in as if you were giving the command to Google. You don't have to type in "Hey Google" or "Okay Google." You just type in whatever you would say after that. So we're gonna say set bedroom lights to 50%. Whoops. Oh, there it is. Can I remember where that is? There you go. You can use the percent sign or type it out. It'll know what you want. And so this is how I would set the bedroom lights to 50% within this routine. If I don't want them to turn like to 100% in the morning or something because I'm just waking up. So we can go ahead and click add. Right, and again, if I do change order, I can set that to the top. Okay, so once you have everything in here set up the way you want, make sure you click the save button in the top right, so that routine saves. There's a bunch of different other ready-made routines here that you can go through and see if any of them are something you would want to use. But let's say you want to make your own fully customized routine. So for me, I have the family room lights and the kitchen lights downstairs that are all smart lights. And when I leave and go upstairs, I want to give the Google Assistant or my Google Home one phrase and it turn off both the kitchen and the family room lights without me having to say turn off the kitchen and the family room lights. I could say, I want to say something like turn off the downstairs lights. So to do that, I can create a routine in order to do it. So I'm going to create and click the add a routine button here and create my own custom routine. And you see we get a bunch of different options here. We get the when, what assistant will do, and then play. This should seem very familiar to what we looked at before. So the first thing I'm going to do is add the commands, right? And you see it is required because we have to give a command to it. So I'm going to say turn off the downstairs lights. Okay, and again, I can have more than one command. So if I want to say turn off the, oops. So if I want to put in something that says like turn off the first floor lights, I can also do that as a command. And you can add a bunch of different ones here. Again, go through and try to make sure everything's spelled right. That'll help Google understand when you want the routine to run. And if it's spelled off, if you're missing a letter or something, it won't work as well as it would if everything's spelled right. So just give it a quick double check and then click OK. So now that we've clicked OK, you can see the second option here is set a time and day, and this is optional. So this is basically, if we go in here, this is like setting a schedule for this routine to run. So instead of me having to say turn off the downstairs lights, I can go in here and it will do it at a specific time of day. So some people might want to do this for their lights if, say, they're leaving town, you know, and going on vacation for a couple of days and they want to make it look like someone's home. They can go and set up a routine for this to run, let's say at like 5 p.m. We'll click set, and then we'll say, you know, the days we're gone are going to be like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so without me having to go and tell the assistant on my phone or something like that, it'll just automatically run this routine. So without me giving the command, it'll just run this routine at the set time on those days. The next thing you have to do is choose a speaker that will start this routine. This again, it'll show you a bunch of different speakers, all the speakers you have in all your different homes. If you have multiple homes, again, be careful and pick a correct speaker. So we're gonna click the family room speaker. Again, it doesn't really matter what speaker you pick as long as it's in the correct home. It also, the only other time it really matters if you set up like downtime and digital well-being for one of your speakers, which we'll go over in a separate video. If you've had it so downtime runs at a specific time, so you have it run at 5 o'clock, then this routine won't run, because what downtime does is kind of turns off the Google Assistant on that speaker, so you don't get any notifications or can't give it any commands or anything like that. So just be careful if you have that set up. The next thing is, do you want to get a notification on your phone when this routine is run? I usually do, just to make sure that it has run, especially if I'm away from the house. So that's how you can set up a schedule for it. I don't want to specifically set up a schedule for it now. So we'll just hit delete this schedule. And then the next thing we'll do is add action. Again, whenever you see this box, make sure you type it in specifically how you would say it to the assistant. There's also browse popular actions, which is again a lot of the pre-made ones we've seen before. So you can go and pick from one of those if you want to, that are already kind of pre-made, or you can enter in your own, which is what we're gonna do. And we're gonna say, turn off the kitchen lights. We'll click add. And then we can add another action that says turn off the family room lights. So there we go. So when I tell it to turn off the downstairs lights or turn off the first floor lights, it's gonna go and turn off the kitchen lights first and then turn off the family room lights. You can go ahead and add media and stuff here if you want to. This doesn't make sense for the routine we're setting up now, but maybe it does for the routine you're setting up. So just again, those settings are in here. And I can again change the order if I really want to. And I just wanna make sure I go ahead and click the save button at top. But I'm also gonna teach you a little trick now too. So I can actually put all of this in one command. So your Google Assistant, whether it's on your phone or a home device, can accept multiple commands in one phrase as long as you do it right. So if I tell my Google Assistant right now to turn off the kitchen lights and turn off the family room lights, it'll do it all at once. It'll turn off the kitchen lights and then the family room lights, even though I just gave it one command. So instead of me having to say turn off the kitchen lights and then say, okay Google, now turn off the family room lights, I can do it all in one command as long as I string it together with the word and. So we're gonna do and turn off the family room lights. It would make sense for us to basically just say turn off the kitchen lights and the family room lights, but Google Assistant will turn off the kitchen lights but not really know what you want it to do with the family room lights, which I know is weird. So make sure you say turn off the kitchen lights and turn off the family room lights. We'll go ahead and click OK. So that's a neat little trick. You can test that out on your own. It's kind of nice if you don't have a pre-made routine. But now since I have the action in, I can go ahead and click save. And now you'll see the action is here. It says turn off the downstairs lights. Now I need one that says turn on the family room and kitchen lights, right? So I would just basically go ahead and do the same thing and make a routine that says turn on the kitchen lights and turn on the family room lights. But it would have basically the same command. I would say turn on the downstairs lights and turn on the first floor lights and whatever other commands I want to use for this routine to run. So just make sure you go and set up both routines if this is something you're trying to do. So that is routines, and that's how you set them up. You can go and manage them anytime. You can set schedules and things like that. So they're pretty cool and they're very useful. You can use them with a bunch of different smart home products and things like that.